Greetings, friends. I am your host, Josh Griffey, joined tonight here on the Nerd Alchemist by my friend and co-host for the evening, Sam Price. Welcome, dude.
Hey, man, what's going on?
I know, it's been a while, dude. We got you here on your quarantine cam, like everyone else. All right, so tonight... Yeah, that's right. Trailer reaction night, guys. So we are going to be watching... one, I'm very excited. I'm so excited. I actually waited to watch it with Sam. I had to wait 2 days. So I'm very pumped. Tonight we're going to be watching and discussing Lovecraft Country, the new HBO show based off a book that I haven't read. You know, shame on me as a massive Lovecraft fan. I never got around to it. As I'm told, the book's premise is essentially, what if the Lovecraft monsters were made real in America based on racism, right? Like, so the more racist people are, the more these Lovecraftian monsters pop up. Okay. And I was like, I'm sold. That sounds amazing. Lovecraft and monsters.
That's what this show's about?
Supposedly. Again, that's just my synopsis, like, you know, my word on the street from people I know who have read it.
Well, okay, so
I'm
actually,
excited.
Refresh me real quick. What are the Lovecraft monsters again?
Cthulhu's the big one, right? Did you see? So the Lovecraft universe is essentially the elder gods, the old gods. Cthulhu kind of being the great old god, right? He who sleeps beneath, gently dreaming Cthulhu. The Mountains of Madness is a Lovecraft, the one that Del Toro's been trying to film forever. Color Out of Space, the Dunwich Horror, all these great reanimators of Lovecraft. So this kind of universe of essentially it's slimy, blasphemous, tentacly kind of slimy things that, you know, crawl around in the dark. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing.
Kind of like a sci-fi horror mix.
Yeah, it really is sci-fi, because a lot of the theory, too, is that they actually come from a different dimension or, you know, somewhere deep in space. I'm not as fresh on all that stuff. There's actually like a really deep well of that kind of research you can do. But I do love the story. So I'm excited to watch this Lovecraft Country trailer. So, Sam, do you have your video up and ready?
I do. Let me make it a full screen real quick.
There you go. So we are watching Lovecraft Country official trailer on HBO's YouTube channel. This came out on July 24th, if you want to follow along with us. So, Sam, are you ready?
I am.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1, play.
What's that book you've been reading about?
It's about heroes who get to go on adventures, defeat the monsters.
Oh, no.
And save the day.
Damn, this looks awesome.
Boy from the south side of Chicago, the only tourists that get to do that.
Is that Kanye?
Kanye?
That's been kept from us. You going after it. We're gonna need a car.
See, that's a classic Lovecraft, The Seeker.
This is family business. And families stay together.
Woo! That was hot.
Just because they don't want you here doesn't mean you're not supposed to be.
This is an invitation to unmitigated power.
Where in the hell did I go wrong with you, boy?
Oh, man.
I told you to stay away from that damn place.
There's something here
Sorry.
that's trying to get out.
Dude, these big scary mansions. Ship?
Oh, evil white guy.
From God to man
Oh, my God.
to creature.
Creature. Oh, shit, dude.
We're surrounded by monsters.
Oh, man. This is visually all working for me so well right now.
It does look cool.
What the fuck?
This legacy belongs to
What is happening?
We gotta face this new world. And stake our claim in it.
Ooh, that's cool.
Oh, shit! They showed him!
family story.
Oh, my God, dude.
Interesting.
They actually... That probably wasn't the Cthulhu, right?
I mean, Cthulhu from the pictures I've seen.
All right, let me break this. Sorry, I'm like fucking wigging out right now. I was actually kind of stunned watching. I wasn't really commentating a lot. So that's probably a star spawn of Cthulhu, like one of his little minions, right? You might have even seen stuff like that. They make D&D models of him, actually. They're really cool. He mixes in. Cthulhu's become this cool thing where, like, a lot of board games and different games, like, they have, like, a Cthulhu version because it's so popular.
Yeah.
Man, I think this is fucking stunner, dude. That looks awesome. What were your first impressions now that we've wrapped this up?
First, that dude has a great physique. The main guy.
I thought you were talking about Cthulhu again. I was like,
no,
well, they say he's pretty squishy in the book.
The first thing I noticed. I don't know, man. The thing about especially HBO trailers recently is I have no clue what that movie's or that show's about, other than what you've told me. The trailer literally tells you nothing.
Well, see, I think it does a great, because this is my theory on trailers, right? Is don't tell me too much about the plot to where I'm not interested in what's happening, right? What it does show you, right? So if you're not going to tell me a lot of like the beat by beat, what's the goal, what are we doing? You have to give me what is it going to feel like to sit in the show? What's the atmosphere and the ambience going to be? And I really get that in this, right? It's got this really cool kind of horror movie part. It's got this, there were some very, burning Mississippi scenes where you're going to have these really intense standoffs with, kind of human evil, it feels like. The guy they mentioned, he's going after something, right? Like a relic, a forgotten legacy. That's a very Lovecraftian concept, right? I think actually in the the Cthulhu story, right? The first time he's in the story, it's just this guy finds a journal of this guy who went crazy, went down to a swamp. There's like a wild Cthulhu orgy with all, you know what I mean? He's just like constantly walking into a place that feels like our world, and you walk a step too far, and then there's just chaos, right? This thing that you can't comprehend. I think this is actually a really cool setup for this story, too. I couldn't
comprehend it, actually.
Yeah, see, it worked on you. You walked past the veil, and you're like, oh. But what is cool, I like that we actually saw the star spawn, or, I mean, perhaps that's Cthulhu. It seems very small for him, but, would look like that. Because one of the things I wonder watching the show is how much the monsters will play a part. Because it looks like they're going to do, this is obviously set in a time period where people were being more than monstrous enough, right? So for me, we saw a ghost on a ship, it looked like, a kind of like, shriveled up corpse lady. So I wonder how much of this is going to be true monsters and ghosts versus, these people trying to solve a mystery with it. Because again, we see this creepy looking cop. A lot of it kind of reminded me of Ready or Not, right? A lot of like rich whites who have weird games in their house. Like they're going to start, running amok, causing trouble. Maybe they're fighting for the Lovecraft relic against, this group that we are following.
See, I didn't get anything about a relic. Maybe I need to watch it again.
I mean, yeah, I think we'll probably watch it again when this is done. But when his father was like, you're going after it, aren't you? You know what I mean? This legacy. Oh. So I think he's going to, it might not be a relic, but perhaps some kind of like hidden information, some truth, right? That's a Lovecraftian thing. But I think it's really fun, right? Because Lovecraft himself was notoriously just a massive piece of shit as a human being. Like just a real bad guy, like, really? super fucking racist, avowed white supremacist guy, right?
All right.
And a lot of his stories feel like these others are invading, and it's not as thinly veiled, at times as you would think, right? There are a lot of parts of his stories where you're just like, oh man, this guy. I think it's kind of cool to play with this, right? That you have these entrenched, this story of kind of this battle for the soul of America that you see in this, tension between the racists trying to hold on to their way of life and people trying to forge their own path. I think that is really an interesting place to put the battle of what do we do with Lovecraft now, right? Because it's like people love, everyone loves his creations, but he is a massive piece of shit. Like he was just not a good dude.
Isn't he dead?
Oh, yeah, he's been dead for a long time. And if I remember right, I think he actually died penniless. It was one of those stories where what he created became so iconic in pop culture, but I don't think he cashed in a lot in his lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like wildly well respected because he was kind of like a pulpy writer or whatever. But, yeah, so I think it's fun. Like, what do you do with these? You know, we've seen a lot of this lately, like canceling old movies and this and that, you know, because of their content. I think this is kind of a fun, like, what if we just take the good stuff, and, you know, we'll kind of fight the bad stuff, you know, have it out on the screen. I think that's kind of a cool place for this all to take place.
The only thing I would say about that is, like, I feel like you know a lot about this story outside of...
Yes, I know a lot about the Lovecraft
film
universe.
history or whatever. Whoops.
Did you just give me a crying face? Sam's like, I got emotional.
Yeah, I don't know how to use Skype very well, but
that might be the ghost of Lovecraft. He's like, did you call me a racist?
Yeah,
Yes, I did, Howard.
So you know a lot about this world already. Me, just being a person, like, what would you think if you're just a person just watching this and you know the name Lovecraft and you know Cthulhu? Wouldn't you think this would be like an homage to him, or like celebrating his monsters?
That's an interesting thing, because I actually had this argument with some other people about a year ago, right? Because they came out with this children's animated movie, and it was called like Howard and Cthulhu, right? And it's like a children's animated, where essentially it's like a Cthulhu walking around as a cartoon with like a little boy named Howard. And, you know, part of me was like, man, I really want to get that and show it to my kids. But then I was like, man, that's pretty fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, we're turning Cthulhu into Clifford the Big Red Dog, and this little boy into this kind of lovable scamp version of this horrendous racist piece of shit. And so you're like, all right, so I like Cthulhu, and, you know, my son is 5, and he's like, Cthulhu. He thinks of him like Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
He likes that. The imagery just works, right? It's mystical to us. It's magical. But he doesn't know anything about the other guy, right? So to me, I think what this show is doing, and what a lot of Cthulhu, because one of the cool things about him is so many people have done work with his universe, right? I think a lot of what it is how do we illustrate what is cool about that, and, you know, hopefully that begins to elevate, and we start losing these, you know, kind of bad things that, you know, he was probably writing. A lot of his inspiration for this, it felt like, was, you know, obviously his fear of the others.
Yeah, his racism.
So I don't know. I mean, that is the weird thing, right? Like, is it paying homage, or is it, you know, we're going to take some, because that's the thing. The monster already exists. Cthulhu already exists. It's iconic. People love it.
Yeah.
Can we take it back? Like, the way I think about sometimes this kind of stuff is like, I want my mom to watch this, right? She knows nothing about Cthulhu or the Lovecraft universe. But I would imagine she'd watch it and be like, oh, the adventure, it looks thrilling. Like, ooh, the scene with the cop, that's tense, it's scary. I think that's cool, because then hopefully my mom will now associate Lovecraft and Cthulhu and that stuff with this show, and not that guy, man. You know?
Well, but, I mean, it's just... That's the weird part. Isn't this what people would say is whitewashing history?
I think it's the exact opposite of whitewashing, and I don't know. Whatever the
so?
term is for pulling the racist white out. Like, I don't know.
Well, but it's like changing his... Like, if what you're saying is true, his original idea for a story was basically Cthulhu was the black people.
No, not all. Not necessarily Cthulhu. But I do think if you read a lot of his stories and do a little extra research, I think he is afraid of, we have this world, right, at the time, predominantly white man world, right?
When was he around?
Turn of the century, like 1900s. So born in the 1800s, probably died early 1900s.
So he never actually did make movies. He just wrote books.
No. Yeah, he wrote stories.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think that's right. I might be off on my time frame on that. I'm really bad with dates and history.
It kind of makes sense that he was a bit racist if that was when he was alive.
Sure, but I would say, like, you know, even amongst his peers.
That's like going back and saying Bram
cool,
Stoker's
right?
racist and Dracula's a black guy. Like, who knows?
I mean, yeah, they probably all were, but again, him being, you know, racist in his time and this and that, that's fine, man. He's not here, right? Yeah. What matters is, can you take...
He's not making
his ideas and his imagery that might have spawned from that place and find a way to use them to their full effect without that, I hate others undertone. I think that's kind of the cool thing that I've always liked the imagery of, because that's the thing, if you like alien invasion shows, if you like disease shows, a lot of it is that, right? It's this fear of losing the world as we know it, losing control of your body to someone else. And I think right now, the moment we're in, I think this is a great time to examine these things, and you get this layer of genre and sci-fi, which might make it more palatable to the people that, need to hear this stuff than just being, yelled at and whatever's happening. So, I mean, I don't know. I love Lovecraft. I love HBO. Yeah. I will say this. I haven't really been into an HBO show in a long time. I guess it's been since Game of Thrones, man. That one left me so depressed.
I just watched a good one. I can't remember what it was called. Succession. Have you seen that one yet?
No, I haven't. Is that
good.
the one with the rich people?
Yeah, they're basically
Kieran Culkin's in it. I love him. I would love to watch that show.
Maybe they are the Murdochs. I don't know what they're like.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of TV, but this one I will definitely have, because I haven't even watched Watchmen yet. I'm ashamed to say it as a comic book lover.
See, man, controversially, I did not like Watchmen.
How dare you? Do you like the Watchmen story, the original?
Well, I thought I used to, but now that I look back on it, I don't think I did, man. I don't think I still do, if you know what I mean.
Not a seminal work for Sam?
The whole thing doesn't make any sense to me, but that's another thing with this I was just watching. I'm not a huge fan of the shows where people are just acting creepy. You know what I mean? Like,
so horror movies?
No, I love horror movies, right? That are like realistic.
You just don't like when they're being creeps, right?
No, when they're like being.
You're like, Jason, why are you looking through the window again when she's changing? Go ring the doorbell like a gentleman.
No, see, that makes sense, man. But like in this show or in the trailer that we just watched, when the dude is like, he's got one arm around the girl, one arm around the guy, and then like his eyes just move sideways. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, what? That's so weird.
What if he's trying to intimidate? What if that is his intended purpose, and we are meant to feel what the character's feeling?
It's just like, I don't like it when so like not necessarily Hitchcock, but what is it when the audience knows stuff that the characters don't know?
When we're in on it before they do?
Yeah, it kind of takes me out of the. I'm a super realist when it comes to movies, and I want to just be watching a story happening. I don't want to be. You know how
you don't want to be clued in.
I don't want.
But that was a classic Hitchcock theory, right? He said 2 men at a table, not drama, I think, right? Not a story. Yeah. 2 men at a table with the ticking bomb under the table, that's a story, right? So whether they know it and we know it, or just we know it, that becomes way more dramatic than just your average everyday breakfast.
See, I disagree. I feel like
my breakfasts are lit. Everyone knows.
I feel like 2 guys at a table, if they're talking about something interesting, is a story.
But if they do it with a bomb underneath,
then it's like a Michael Bay movie.
You might be the first person that said Hitchcock was the first Michael Bay.
I mean,
I think we just made a check mark for the internet. I think in all the annals of history, that was the first fucking comparison betwixt the two.
Though, dude, Hitchcock is on the top of the list. One of the top of the list.
Yeah, I mean, my theory is that if you examine anyone close enough, and especially if you go back like 50 plus years, like, I think a lot of people were just doing shitty things, right? Before they knew everything had receipts. I think that's the good thing about today is I think people are more aware, like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Although you still see on the internet people behaving badly all the days, so maybe not. But
but I just think Hitchcock, I mean, obviously great director, blah, 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 but like some of the shit he said didn't make any sense.
Just
like,
blah, 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 Hitchcock.
2 people sitting at a table, that's not a story. Well, I mean, have you ever seen like that fucking movie with Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson sitting at a table for literally the whole movie? It was one of the best movies.
It was so good that you didn't even know what it was called.
Dude, I can't remember the name of any movie. I've seen so many movies now that the names don't even matter. I just remember what happened.
See, now you're a Robert McKee guy. You're like, I remember the 2 or 3 moments.
I guarantee you some people that are listening to this will know what I'm talking about. And it's Tommy Lee Jones, Samuel L. Jackson literally sitting in an apartment. It's a stage play. It's a Cormac McCarthy stage play. But it's just all in one apartment. I was like, man, if it wasn't those 2 people, you could have made that movie for like $20,000.
Yeah, right.
and it would have been awesome.
Well, you're fine. So you walked away, right? We at the end of this, we always try to judge the trailer, right? So you walk away. How excited are you on whatever metric you do, right? Sometimes we do like the you're at an adult dancing establishment, right? Are you making it rain? Are you like, oh, I got to get a beer? Are you hiding? What is your scale of excitement for Lovecraft Country?
That's not a good one for me, but not a good analogy for me. But as far as, and it's also not fair right now because the COVID bullshit is making it to where anything that comes out, I'm excited about. So I'm
my God.
I'm
what
like
a Debbie Downer.
Well, just make stuff. I don't even care what it is. But the trailer was super slick. The music was amazing.
Yep.
The dudes were all ripped. The women were all beautiful.
Yeah.
And kind of ripped. And
I'll tell you, that one shot where she walked by the lady and did the glasses down, chill city.
Well, that girl, what else is she in? Because she looks so familiar.
I feel like she was a child actor that I couldn't place where it was either. If my phone hadn't died before we started, I would be pulling all this up. Yeah, I recognized her, I felt like, too.
Yeah, she was just something. Maybe it was Watchmen. I don't know. Anyways.
My thing is, though, is that, the acting sharp, the style and the tone sharp.
The production, obviously, it looks
music amazing.
Music.
We saw some really, what I was hoping to see is we saw really good horror movie beats, right? There were scenes in the trailer where I felt
that stuff just seems
tense.
So generic to me, though. Like, I don't like.
I feel like generic will be the last adjective that gets hooked on this show by the end of it.
Hopefully, I mean, I have high hopes for it. Just because
I would give it like a 4 out of 5 excitement. Super fucking over the moon excited. Not like, I mean, it's not like I'm doing jumping jacks out of here, but you know.
I currently don't have HBO. Will I get HBO for this show? Maybe not, but the next time I get HBO, I will definitely watch this show.
So lukewarm from you, very excited for me, man.
I'm like 3.5.
That's cool. I'll tell you, like, wherever I was, the moment I saw the Cthulhu being explode from beneath the ground, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm in. I'm in all the way. Like, I'm 100,000% in.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. I can't wait. Sam, thanks for joining me. We'll be back with a couple more other trailers with Sam this week for new fun stuff coming out. Hopefully stuff that, you know, has more guys just talking it out. We'll try to find some stuff like that for you, Sam.
Love guys talking it out.
Yeah, as always,
I love
guys.
real life drama, dude. I don't like. See, you're into these giant computer animated monsters and stuff.
How fucking dare you?
Hey, man, I like that stuff a little bit.
How dare you?
I'd much rather just have a creepy story. Like, remember Needful Things?
Oh, okay. We're just gonna list other movies that you think are gonna be better. Okay. Like my wife said to all of her friends when it's like, why Josh? And she said, get you one that can do both.
What?
That's how I am. I can watch this movie and I can watch your little
I guarantee
people
your wife did not say that.
That's like a myth I've created about myself. I would also guarantee that she never said that about me.
She's probably said like, oh, sometime he can do something.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. Maybe you're the fucking hidden monster. You're like the Cthulhu beast of my life. Best friend Sam. All right, Sam will be back this week. Please hit subscribe down below. If there's anything you'd like to hear us discuss for the Film Alchemist podcast, any movies, themes, anything like that, guests, movie trailers, we have a new fun one we're working on, IMDb battles. This is going to be one of my favorite segments, right? Whose would you pick when paired up? So if you have comments for that, leave it below. If you have any movie question, leave it below. We're trying to get to everything, and keep the content flowing. So hit subscribe, hit share, let your friends know. We appreciate your time. So we'll see you back here soon on the Nerd Alchemist. I'm Josh Griffey.
Later.
And that's it.
And I'm me. Whatever.
Later.
Later.